I sat down, I met with the Danish ambassador this past week, I met with the Greenlandic ambassador, and I got to say the Danish ambassador, they were upset and they were offended, and they said Greenland is not for sale. And I laughed and I said, you know what, everything's for sale. And I said,
wow, okay, so when our allies are upset, you decide to double down and say everything is for sale. At a time when the US has been getting booed on the national stage by some of our allies, at a time when we're pushing away countries who are our closest trading partners and who we have a mutually beneficial relationship with, at a time when European leaders are holding emergency meetings because of our leaders' unhingedness on a day-to-day basis. They don't even know if Trump can guarantee their security. So yeah, I mean, the leaders in Europe have been holding these emergency meetings trying to figure out what they're going to do. And here comes Ted Cruz with zero charisma whatsoever, doubling down and saying everything is for sale. And that is what the Trump administration is offering on the global stage, an alienation of our allies. They're not putting America first, they're making America a pariah on the global stage. I mean, just yesterday, if you watch hockey, I'm sure you saw this, but not only did the US anthem get booed by Canada during the game where the US and Canada were playing each other, but there were also 3 fights in the first 9 seconds. And again, if you watch hockey, you know fights aren't incredibly unique. They happen in a lot of sports, but 3 fights in the first 9 seconds, now that is unique. And I don't want to attach some huge political statement to it, but I do want to say, I think it is broadly indicative of the way our countries are moving. Not geographically, because we're neighbors. We're going to be neighbors forever, but it feels like Trump is rapidly pushing away Canada, pushing away Mexico. You saw what Scheinbaum said last night. And then, of course, the people over in Europe are being pushed away even harder. But I want to break down the implications of this. I want to break down the U.S. getting booed because it's pretty brutal, and it's not something I would ever hope for. I don't want our country to get booed on the national stage, and I'm not laughing at it because it's something good. I'm laughing at it because it's ironic. The America First candidate, quote-unquote America First, is again turning America into a pariah on the global stage and making it so our allies don't even want to help us out. But we also have this poll, and it is not looking good for Trump. They asked Canadians their opinion on Donald Trump, and here are the net favorables or unfavorables. So when it comes to the net favorables right here, out of all Canadians, there is a negative 50%. That means 50% more people dislike Trump than like him. So for example, if it was a 70% unfavorable rating, with a 20% favorable rating, that means there's a negative 50%. With conservatives, it's negative 1%, so the margin is a little bit closer. With Green Party, negative 70%, NDP, negative 92%, and then Bloc and Liberals, both negative 94% net favorable opinion of Donald Trump, which is incredibly, incredibly brutal. And as this person says right here, you have to really go out of your way to get Canadians to boo you. We'll play the booing clip in 1 second. Or to dislike you at that rate. That's like alienating the world's friendliest neighbor, this person says. But Donald Trump has a special talent for turning friends into enemies. It's just who he is. I mean, that's an understatement. He had a 92% turnover during his first year in his first term because he couldn't keep anybody around him. And now this same thing is applying to geopolitics because he's brash, he's abrasive, and listen, there are times when being tough on the global stage is necessary. Obama was tough on some of our adversaries, even though his foreign policy was not the greatest, but that's not what Trump's doing. He's not being tough. And also, you have to be tough to our enemies, and you have to be friendly, or you can negotiate with our allies. Trump has only bullied our allies like Canada, Greenland/Denmark, Panama, Mexico, only bullied our allies, and now he's giving a lot of ground to Vladimir effing Putin. So yes, you can be tough on the global stage, but Trump's not being tough. He's alienating Europe too. I mean, the big blow, I think, was Ukraine. I don't know why, naively, I didn't think Trump's Ukraine position would even be as terrible as it ended up being. I thought that even he would try to at least negotiate with Putin, but no. he is having one-on-one friendly combos with Putin while leaving Zelensky out of the conversations entirely. And then Trump comes out of these conversations with Putin and he's parroting Kremlin talking points verbatim, saying that the only reason the invasion happened was because of the Biden administration's weakness when Russia has been eyeing Ukraine, even Crimea, since 2014. Russia invaded Crimea in 2014, so the idea that it was the Biden administration's fault is not only offensive, but it's just false. But let's watch this clip of the audience booing. I'm going to try to turn up the volume so you guys can fully hear. I'd like to think they're not booing all Americans, people like you and I. They're just booing Trump, maybe his MAGA supporters. And here's the thing. If you've watched sports, it's not usual to boo a nation's song like this, especially if you're playing them. Usually you stay respectful. But at this point, it's like, why would you stay respectful after Trump has done all of this? Somebody said this. If you're offended by Canada booing the U.S. anthem, but you're not offended by your own government threatening to invade and make Canada a 51st state, you're a gross hypocrite. Canada has every right to boo us. We're being a piece of shit country to our good neighbors. And then they responded to comments that say, no one has threatened to invade. Telling a country you're going to make them a 51st state when they don't want to be a 51st state is a threat, and there is no reality in which that's going to be peaceful, which is 100% true. It will not happen without bloodshed. And again, Trump continues to double down on this odd 51st state fantasy. He even casually said a day or two ago, I spoke to Governor Trudeau. He just randomly keeps calling Trudeau governor, and he's not trolling. It's not a troll. Trudeau was caught behind closed doors on a hot mic saying, this dude is being serious. They know that we have minerals. The U.S. is after minerals. It is a serious threat. It's people like Trump getting booed. It's people like Ted Cruz getting booed. Even when Marco Rubio made a visit to Panama, they were burning effigies of Trump and Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance because the U.S. has been disrespecting them. And just to take it back for a second, I don't want to see the U.S. getting disrespected or getting booed on the global stage. I'm not somebody who wants to see the national anthem get booed, but I just understand why it's happening. It doesn't make me mad. It doesn't anger me because I understand why countries who feel disrespected time and time again, who feel bullied time and time again, would not want to respect the country that's doing the bullying. And now, again, the main thing that really upsets me is Ukraine. The way Trump is likely going to screw over Ukraine and not even try to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. He's just going to give in to Putin's narrative. He's going to concede everything to Putin, and Ukraine's going to get left out in the dust. I am hoping that Europe can very quickly come together and arm Ukraine to the same extent that the U.S. was, because we were helping a lot. But, I'll leave it at that. If you want me to make more Ukraine-related videos or foreign policy-related videos, let me know in the comment section below. Drop some blue hearts. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys, and peace out.